planning meeting in January was the issue of stamp stock management. Those of us that are in any kind of advocacy problem, we find that there are a lot of supervisors that are taking on stamp stock and haven't got a clue what to do with it, how to manage it, how to do the transfers, what's okay, what's not okay. I'm not sure how much in depth Diane's going to go, but we're going to have Diane come up and present it for us. Diane has been with the Postal Service for 32 years. She's currently a supervisor of customer service, was detailed to a manager customer service job with 4 stations, 4 units, and now she's detailed in finance, presumably because of her expertise in this particular process. So if you guys welcome Diane.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. I really enjoyed the ride up here.
Sure you did.
I want to talk today about stamp stock management, and some of the things I'm going to go over first is basic, and then I have some handouts that I'm going to give you that I really want you to take back with you to your offices, or for people that are stamp stock custodians. Maybe, how many people in this office are stamp stock custodians? I'm glad those 2 over here are not. So, completion of this course, you'll be able to maintain your inventory with your stamp stock, cash credits assigned to the postal retail units. You'll be able to consign new stamp and cash credit, manage a unit cash reserve, count stamps and cash credits. You'll be able to manage your unit accountability, manage the unit stock reserve. Cash credits. Cash credits are a credit that they give to a clerk to conduct the daily business. The stamp credit now, there's not that many stamp credits. There's only one that's for the retail floor for the POS office. There really is no more vending. Vending is gone. And retail associate, we call them sales and service associates. But now we got the PSEs also, which are sales and service associates. And PRU is postal retail unit. 2 types of accountability, which I just said was the stamp stock, which is the retail floors, and the cash and credit. So we consign the stamp portion, you would transfer stamps from the unit reserve to the retail floor, and that's what clerks will sell out of. Cash portion, you would transfer, consign the cash portion of the stamp credit. You will transfer cash from one associate to another, and they have their cash to sell. They're only allotted $100.99. Money orders. Money orders come from, I want to say MDI, but I have that in my notes. But money orders are issued in blocks of 100. You do not issue out broken blocks. If you have to, you try to issue those broken blocks to your most confident and trusted employee that will be able to sell them. You have them sign for it in their little green book. We still use the green book, even people think that ours is on lives. We don't use the green book anymore, but yes, we do. Fake money orders. There is a fake money order law that is required to have. In the event that you're robbed, you are to give up the fake money orders. Each employee is assigned 3 fake money orders, and there should be 3 assigned to the office for the put on the counter every night. Just lay it out anywhere. And the first clerk will come in that morning, they'll pick up the bank money order or the supervisor and make sure that they are all there. Yes.
I just want to mention that consigning these, they mean that the employee has to sign for them. So on the cash, you need to actually fill out Form 3369 and they have to sign for it. And you keep the 3369 in your safe as the owner of the stock.
I'm getting to that.
Okay. That's why you're saying consigning, I'm worried people don't know what that means.
Okay. So in this room, we have a few stamp stock custodians. And then I see some folks that work in offices. So are there any people like managers that are over people that have stamp stock? Managers, postmasters. One or two of those? Okay. So you can take this information back to your person and say, you know, monitor this and, you know, watch out for that. Okay, here's the credit file. There's the 3369, and I have one here that I have made up, and I also put the 3977 there. So if you have starting up a clerk, or if you have clerks at your office now, make sure the folder is complete. You want to have the 3368. That shows the accounts and stuff that are done every month. And when I said monthly, because we were doing a monthly at one point, now we're done quarterly. And some offices, like I have a huge office, and we count the retail floor every month. Because we want to know if there's a problem with the retail floor, we want to know about it right away. So we count it every month. Every clerk should have the 3977. One for their log on, and one for the key to their drawer. And then there's the form that the young lady in the back was talking about, 3369, that they sign for their cash. And it's usually $100.99. Now the cash reserve could be a little bit more. And your folder should be set up like that. Manage the cash retained in files offices. Okay, so we talked about that. You know, you count them quarterly. They do not go over the $100.99. It's like a big thing if they retain more than $100.99. So when they're closing out at night, it'll say turn in all your money. It tells them turn in $20, $30, whatever, but they are only allowed to keep the $100.99. Changing the amount of the unit cash reserve. Now I have a handout for that, and I will go over that when I get to that with my handouts. Count frequency. The retail floor stamp credits is counted quarterly. Fiscal year quarterly. The unit reserve is counted. If you have a craft employee, then you count that quarterly. If it's management, an EAS employee, or it's once a fiscal year. Unit cash reserve is the same thing. You would count that quarterly. We just got away from those, yes.
Unit stamp stock reserve, you're saying that a craft employee has to count quarterly, and he has to do I'll forget it.
Retail soldiers cash retained count credit count. House units, retail floor stock counts, maintain the unresolved employee item logs. This is some things that you want to make sure you take care of. Now the unresolved employee log, I'm going to go over that with my hands out. And I'm going to forget that. Closing cash credits of deposit. If you are closing out a clerk, you want to make sure that they transfer the money orders back to the unit reserve. They can do the audit on your drawer first, make sure it's all right. Then transfer the monies back to the unit reserve, money orders to unit reserve. And then they're going to transfer their cash to another clerk because they're going to have change. Now, I talked to, we're closing, in the process of closing a unit in St. Louis. And matter of fact, two of them. And the clerk, she had a whole bunch of change. And so she was like, well, I've already been over to the bank already. I'm like, okay, I'll buy the change from you. You guys can believe what happened. I went and bought that change from her, and she said, oh, your card won't work. I was like, well, I have money. She said, well, maybe, I said, maybe I'm over my daily limit. And I'm like, no, I'm not, so I swiped my card. Did not use my debit card, I mean my PIN, a lot of times, just maybe once. But it took it out of my account 3 times, and then put it back in 2. And since we're closing this unit out, and I happened to be talking to the little credit union the next day, and I said, oh, I don't know this out like that. And so I went down there and they ran the report, because I thought they had did something, but ended up it happened at the post office. And so I'm like, okay, this unit is closing, so I need to go and get my money back. And I talked to the help desk, which they are our friends, and they said it's okay that they can get it, banking can take care of this and get my money back even if the unit closed. But it was really odd that something like that happened, because I've had clerks tell me when they're short. No, I did not believe them. I did not, because it does not happen to everybody. It happens to maybe 1 or 2 people that consistently have problems. So I'm thinking maybe they're not paying attention. Yes, it did happen. That was like 2 days ago. I'm still waiting for my money. Managing Unit Reserve. You can order stamp stock from the SDO SSC, which I still call it the SDN. You receive stock from the SDN. And when you get the money orders, you verify the money orders, and you put those money orders in your green book right away. Put the date you receive them, you list all your money orders, and then when you give them to a clerk, they have to sign your little green book saying they received the money order, plus they sign the sheet from files. The county for stock shipments and files, you will receive them in stock inventory, and there's 3 different places to receive stock from. That I will show you in my handout. That is, we have a lot of problems with that, because stamp stock now is coming from the SDN. It's coming, the money orders coming from a different place, and then the little sale items like the philatelic stuff is coming from a 3rd place. And they are picking them up wrong. When they pick them up wrong, it creates an in-transit. And even though it's the right amount of money, if that number doesn't follow the right path that it's supposed to go to, they just said, oh, it's wrong, so they put your office out of bounds. Stamp stock discrepancies. If your stock is short, you are to notify the help desk right away. And you are going to have to pick up the shortage. Pick up the shortage, and then you have to do a claim for loss on the difference. It takes this little process, a little work involved, a lot of work. And I mean, it works out. And a lot of times, sometimes we find it. We have found things. Matter of fact, I sent something to Mail Recovery the other day. We were looking for somebody's stock. I don't know if it ever came back, but I sent all the information so in case it does. In-transit procedures, okay, we talked about that. 15 days, you have to pick this stock up. Matter of fact, I got some at my office now, just waiting to be picked up. But I'll get back in time. And they sent a warning to the manager saying that, oh, this stock is not picked up. So you get ample time to go get it, pick it up. And the stamp stock is coming, signature confirmation. It's creating a little problems here and there because sometimes it comes busted open and it goes here and goes there, but signature confirmation.
So when you have to record this, if you go to pick up your stock, you can like say it's left it over. So you have a form, you have to record that.
Only if something's missing. If it's all there, just go right on with it. But if something's missing, you have to let them know and pick it up, even though it's not there. And you can do a claim for loss. Well, it's still for 15 days. They still want you to pick that stock up within 15 days. Returning stock to the SDO and SSC, my favorite SDN, they allow us, I'm sorry, good question. Okay, they allowed us like maybe 4 times a year to return stock. But I think they have kind of narrowed it down to maybe twice. They give you a list and they tell you, get your stuff together, send it back. They give you a 1-week period to get your old stock together, stuff that's off sale, and you can send it back. A lot of times people won't do it, and their office will be over their accountability. And so I might talk to them, I'm like, did you get to send something back from the last return? Oh, no, I didn't get to it. Well, yeah, I understand everybody's busy. I'm working 2 and 3 jobs myself, but you got to send the stock back so that it won't make your accountability over.
So your return stuff, what do you just send, you know?
You returning old stuff, stuff that's off sale. And even, I couldn't understand them taking forever stamps off sale, but they have. They decided that, oh, some of the forever stamps we no longer want to sell, so send them on back.
They're taking that off?
Yeah, they'll recall them, send them back in. APC.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You know what, it's hard enough for people to stand in front of these classes and do what they have to do to present to everybody. And then you have sidewalk conversations. I thought before in the past, we've always stepped outside to do our little sidewalk conversations. Because it's just so disrespectful, because you may already know this information, but somebody else who may be trying to get a promotion or a change may need that information. I just think it's just so rude. And then you talking, somebody else needs to hear something they're missing. Can we just be a little bit more respectful, please?
Can we go back, I want to ask Diane, because she was just saying about forever stamp. So what I was asking was that when it comes back to you, so that they won't have an over.
They ship that stock to the unit reserve. The unit reserve ships it out to the SDN. And the good thing now is you take it out the same day. Years ago, we have to wait for them to get it back at the SDN, verify it, and say everything is right, everything is wrong, and then tell you what to ship it. Now we ship it out the same day. The problem is that you have to make sure you're using that shipment number. If you're saying you shipped it out on number 123, it's got to be on your invoice, and it's got to get to the SDN under 123.
Okay, so you're a frontline supervisor. You have a manager or you frontline supervisor that has to manage this.
The stamp stock custodian is the one that would do the return. The manager should always be involved in what's going on in their office, and everything. Because they're going to call them on the carpet and ask them something about it. Yes.
I think she's asking the question, you usually who is the stamp stock custodian? You as a supervisor, but there are managers that take the stamp stock.
And there are craft employees that have stamp stock. Now, at one point, I had 3 of them, and then I had 2 at another office. Well, I found out I'm not supposed to have it like that. So once I left, I said, okay, I need somebody to take this over. My T7, he stepped right up to the plate and took care of it. He's doing an excellent job. I monitor him. I go over and talk to him. I check his stock out. You can count your stock. If you have the unit reserve, you can count it anytime. Check yourself out to make sure it's all there. Because if it's a problem, you want to know about it right away. APCs are the same way. They get counted once a quarter, and you can transfer stock from APC to APC to another office, but you just use the shipment number. Okay, the key points was to maintain the credit record file, which I was going to make up more than one, but I didn't. I made up one. Count your stamps and your cash credits. Keep yourself out of trouble. Just go ahead on the counter. And when you put the stuff in your file, annotate that it's been done. Don't just put your audit in there and say, I'm through. A lot of the folks have told me they go to offices and say the audit files just sit there with all the counts in it, but they have not been put on the 3368. If they're not on there, it's just like you didn't even do it. If an auditor would come in. It can be a manager, supervisor, or craft employee. And one thing about that, it could be multiple people have access to it. when multiple people have access to it, it's got its own safe compartment, and they go in there and get the stamps out, they put them in the machine. Now, I actually had 2 of them in one office, and I actually started to enjoy that machine because it really doesn't break down that much. You keep it supplied with the paper, stamps, go out there every day and kind of, straighten it up and stuff. It's perfect. They want a certain amount of accountability, so we can't get one at the main office on that now because I want one there. Closed inactive accounts. I have an employee that at one of my old offices that for some reason, I never even met the girl. She was gone when I got there, but she's got a money order hanging. And I'm gonna get into that too on my handout. So if a report and resolve indiscrepancies. That means that if your stamp stock is short, let them know right away. Okay, here's some of the references. The F1, F101. I brought my F101. I kind of always keep a hard copy. I know it's on the internet, but I keep a hard copy, so if you just want to flip through her and see, you'll be amazed at some of the stuff that'll stick once you see it in hard copy. Positive procedures guide, e-moves. Some of you might have e-moves. E-moves are places like contract stations, and then we have some of the contract stations which are on cars, and that's perfect. That means that all you have to do is go over there once a quarter and verify that they're keeping their signage together. If they have any questions, they got the hazmat together. So the car's office is the thing to be now for your contract stations. It's a computer system. They order their own stamps. They deposit their own money. You don't have to do anything. Whereas with e-move, you have to put the 1412 in every night yourself. So,
What do you mean by I did not get customer service?
e-moves is for like contract stations, small post offices that will put your business, that day's business.
We don't have access to our calls and IRP systems.
Right.
So they send hard copy paperwork in and somebody puts it in for them.
ADM website and the county website. Remember what I said about the help desk? Those people are so nice. They're so nice and so helpful. And the thing about it, when you talk to them, tell them the whole story. Don't leave anything out. And then, you think, it's like a think tank. You think about what they're saying, and it makes sense. And like, okay, even if I know what I'm doing, and if I call the help desk about something, they'll tell me something. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, well, that didn't sound right. Then I'm going to go further. Or if it sounds right, I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I want to do. And a lot of things with POS now is, you know what you want to do to correct the error. POS won't let you do it. There's too many safeguards in there to stop us from manipulating things. Additional questions about field finance, go to those websites. There's my favorite help desk down there. Okay, and then they just passed out something. And I want to kind of go over that real quickly to tell you guys about this. Okay, on number one, that's the 3958. And this is live data. I made sure I got that live stuff. This is actually somebody's office. And the names have been changed to protect the innocent. So on the 3958, it's like the first 5 pages go together. Meaning that you would have a 3958, anytime you do transactions on your stock, you're going to do the inventory by category, and you have the signed 17 from the clerks. This particular item, this order had some stamp received from the SDN. So those first 5 pages. Now, when I was visiting my old office that cheated me out of my money, I asked her before, I said, where is your 3958 and your inventory by category? I don't get time to print all that. I was very disappointed in her because, first of all, if there ever is a problem and your NAPS representative has to represent you, he needs to know that every time you did a stamp transaction, you printed this information. Because that way we can find out where the problem happened. And nobody's perfect. Problems will happen. You will be busy with delivery or something else and give somebody 50 coils and didn't take it out of pods. It happens. Now, if it happens to me, I wake up over my sleep at nighttime. But if you print this information, every time you do some transactions with POS, then we can probably find the error. And we can submit the information to postal officials and get them to try to work things out for you, instead of you have to pay for it. So it's the 3958, inventory by category, and the 17. And if you receive some stock in from the SDN, that should be attached to it also. And see those shipment numbers up there? Yeah, no, don't look at that one, because I got one from next set. Okay, let's go to page 6. This is the roles and POS that everybody is allotted. You can print this, and POS 1 administrator is the person that can make all the changes. They can check you out as stock custodian if they want to. They can put you back in. They can add clerks in. The POS 1 administrator is the one that can make all the changes. So you want to make sure that a person that is the POS 1 administrator is somebody that you trust and that's somebody that you can count on.
In other words, your God.
What is it?
Your God.
No. You just want to make sure, and if you're printing your 3958 and inventory by category, you got proof of what your accountability is. So that's your proof. And you want to keep this information locked away. I keep mine in my safe, because I have a walk-in safe. The number 7 and 8 goes together. That's the stock received from the SDN, SSC, SSO, whatever you want to call it. This is what that their inventory sheet looks like. You see in the upper left-hand corner on number 8, it says Kansas City SDC. It's got the shipment number in the center. Thank you. The date, you got the 2 witnesses, they signed on it. They round stamp the date. These are the procedures, number 7. How to pick that up, stamps. And when the sheet looks like that, it says it comes from the SDN, then you will pick up the stock like this on number 7. The SDN, their finance number defaults in the system. So when you picking up stock, it's going to basically, if you say it's from the SDN, you don't have to worry about putting their finance number. Some of the other ones, you're going to put their number in. When I was working with another office who had picked up some stock wrong, they shipped some stock from one office to the next. And they shipped it out as like it was coming from the SDN, which it should have came from going to another office. And so we went over to correct it. And so the girl I was working with, she was over there, she was moving, clicking back and forth, and I was standing there beside her, and I'm like, okay, it's, the help desk told us that it would, the shipment number would stay the same. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Of course, it didn't. And so she went back and forth with the number, and next thing I know, she had shipped that stock out, and she shipped it out wrong again. I was so disappointed because it's like, that type of error is a triple error. I mean, it was wrong first, then you did it again. So now we got to correct the wrong one, plus correct that second one. That takes a lot of sitting down and just writing it down and getting it together. And I told her to just kind of step to the side, and I kind of got that together. But she was fast with the fingers, and she hit previous screen, and she had put the information in, the correct finance number, everything. But when she hit that previous screen and then went back, it defaulted to the SDN. Okay, so number 9 and 10, these are things like the stamp yearbook, philatelic items. 9 goes in. See what number 10? It says that it's mailed from the Minnesota Diversified IND. It gives you the finance number and the shipment number right there in the center. Those items get picked up this way, like number 9. Number 11, if you see I highlighted, it says, ready posts and greeting cards are not received until the file's back office. You don't have to pick those up. If you want to replenish your inventory, then you would do an inventory of your ready posts in the spot, do that. But this is what the money order form looks like. Number 12. So there's 3 different places that you can pick stock up from. Just pick up from the right spot. If you're in doubt, number 13 is if you're in doubt as to where your stamp order is, you can go into a stamp ordering online and go into the reports menu and do a search. Do a search of your inventories from maybe a month. And it'll tell you where your stamp order is. It'll give you that signature confirmation number. And you can go find out who signed for your stock, which is chances are somebody in your office. And they just put it to the side and they tell you who's there. Number 14 is basically some of the items that can come from like the SDN, some of them from the external PO, and just a little cheat sheet. The last one is about increasing or decreasing the cash retained. So if you have a cash retained, which I think I managed like $4,000 when I got to this one office. I'm like, oh no, you guys don't need that much money. Oh yes, we do. No, you don't. The Postal Service is, they're not really, years ago we used to have them $100,000 worth of inventory and stuff. We're not selling stamps like that anymore. More people are going online and stuff, so you can kind of cut your inventory down a lot. And you can manage it more if you got your inventory kind of low. They give us an option to order once a month. So if I have an office that's selling 100 coils a week, then I will order 450. That means I always have that extra 50. But I'm not going to order 800 when that's just going to be sitting over. So I got rid of some of that cash, and I think I'm down to 1,100. And look at that line right there above unit cash reserve accountability. Note that any change to the cash reserve used in this process will also show up in 247 and 647. Okay? So you have a cash retained that's $800 and you want to reduce it to $600. And you follow this procedure. You don't do anything else. It's going to go into 647, $200. It's going to be less. And it's going to also go in 647. And all you do at the end of the night is add those. If you took out 1020s, add them 1020s to your deposit. It's already going to answer for the money, just going to change the quantity. So I have more stuff to talk about, but I don't have any more handouts for you guys. I have a 3977 log. Make sure you list your 3977s if you have. Each clerk should have one, even though they'll say, oh, I need my extra key, and don't give it back to you. Make sure you get the extra key from them. Change the lock if they have used up over their keys. Also, look at the bottom of your 1412. See if you have any sequentially omitted money orders. If you do, try to get rid of those. Because the sequentially omitted money orders, either it was skipped by a clerk, one was cashed, and the other one was not. Something happened with that money order, so you have to call the help desk and see which one was cashed. If they say it has not been cashed, you keep your little notes, and then you send a bulk slip to the inspectors telling them that this was a sequentially omitted money order. You give them all the information, your name, the clerk number, the money order number, the office number, the finance number, everything that they need to take that sequentially omitted money order off your list. Yes?
By sequentially omitted, it just means the clerk skipped over that instead of doing it in sequence, right? So you still physically have the money.
Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes, like, they may print a money order, and the money order machine will read the number on the bottom and skip the one on top.
Oh, there you go. So it looks like you got it.
clerk tell me it didn't happen that way, they don't know why it happened. They read a different number. And so, for instance, if you printed 1, 2, 3, but it should have been 4, 5, 6, then you have created a problem right there. And we get that sometimes too. That's when you have to do the 400B, that if the money order was printed for $20 on 1, 2, 3, but it should have been 4, 5, 6 money order, then we have to do that little switcheroo. It's done through accounting. Everybody knows about it. The postal bulletin is a great thing to read, and I wish I could get one at home because I love to read the postal bulletin. I want to read my mail. I love reading my mail. But that gives you the information about cash and counterfeit Canadian money orders, and if you want to verify the U.S. postal money orders and stuff like that too. But Canadian money orders do come in, and I'm thinking the ones from Japan. I'm not sure if we get those anymore, but I haven't seen a Japan money order lately. I saw one from Canada recently, and the clerks was terrified to cash it. I'm like, okay, let's go through the procedures, and we cashed it. And then I told him that it's only $200. It's just 3 of us can split $200. So I also have a list of water stamps for our area. Oh, it actually is everybody. But I highlighted 631. The bank money order log. The inspectors come, they're going to want to see it. They're going to want to see your bank money order log, and they want to see that you have your employees sign for those 3 bank money orders. I wondered why they came to my office one day, and I'm like, why are they here? And so I checked around, they weren't at anybody else's office. I'm like, so now what red flag brought them here? And then come found out the bank across the street had gotten robbed. So if that's the case, then if we get robbed, they want to make sure we give them up. If we don't give them up, and we don't have to give them to employees, that's going to create problems for us.
Everybody know what a bank money order is? A bank money order is a money order that's actually made out for a certain amount of money. It's already completed. Unlike the block of money orders you have in your reserve that are blank, these are already made out, so they're very tempting. If somebody came in and robbed the place, took your money or took whatever they were taking from you, they take these. And the postal inspectors are aware of it. So as soon as they're cashed, they automatically track it because those are yours. You only get 3 of them, and they are, what are they, 150, 2 and 3, or something like that?
Yeah.
$300?
Actually, they want us to make sure the person takes them, and then they leave them out. They want employees to take them.
They're a theft deterrent. A way of determining where the robbed.
Okay, so the unresolved items. The unresolved items are on, like, if you go into the back office reports, you go to reports. So I think it's number 19 on your PIS reports. Unresolved items can be like salary advances, stamp credit shortages, travel advances, things like that. They have a certain amount of time to be cleared. If they're not cleared, they create a problem with Postal Service finances. And you know how we are now. We try to make sure we keep our stuff together for SOX compliance. Everything is SOX compliance. So if you go to your unresolved item list, you check to see if there's anything there. If you have an employee who short on the cash drawer, which I got one, my chronic employee, she's $39 short. She said that it's PI's problem. PI's did it. So she filed her grievance, and I need to take that $39 and do something with it. I can't leave it on the unresolved issue, all the time. So once her grievance is coming through, I'll have to do something about that. People that go on business and they come and get travel money from us. Well, once they get paid, they got to come back and pay us. Well, a lot of times, why they haven't paid us is because their supervisor or manager hasn't did what they're supposed to do to get them paid, to come pay us. So it kind of like hangs on our logs, and that creates a little problem. Also, salary advances. if the employee is not paid correctly, okay, we want to make sure we give them their money. We give them 65% of their salary. And so the 2240 is submitted, should be submitted. And once they get it, if we put it in AIC 554, we don't do nothing else. They're going to take that money from the people's check. If you put it in 754, you definitely don't want to do that. You can't possibly not do it, because that means you are like a bill collector. You got to hound this person down until you get your money. So 247 log. If an employee makes a mistake or an adjustment, it's going in 247 or 647. You must maintain this log. When I go to an office, I say, can I see a 247, 647 log? Oh, what's that? I'm like, okay. So I usually print it up for the person. We just start from there. If you transfer in cash, it should be on here as a 647. You transfer it to one person, and then the other person got to pick it up. It's going to be a 247. It's going to wipe each other out.
(247) and 647, to the more familiar, they're AIC codes. One is an employee stock or employee cash overage, and the other one is a shortage. So if they make a mistake and they gave away too much money, they're going to end up short. There will be a log entry for that. If they didn't give enough change back, they're going to be over. That'll be the other way around. I think 247 is a shortage, 647 is an overage.
Okay, so, oh yeah, when you're doing your audits, if you're $100 over or short, you have to notify the postal inspectors. I'm sorry, OIGs, the people. They're, yeah, you do a 571 and notify them that this accountability was over $100 or short more than $100. And they keep a little record. They decide if they're going to come and visit. I got an audited, but they didn't consider it an audit. They called it a walkthrough from some ladies up out of headquarters. And this when they came to the box section, I was at the main post office, and they went through, and they were so nice. I have to give them that. And they checked all the callers and the reserves, which before I got to this office, I never dealt with a reserve. And so they want to make sure that we're collecting all the caller money and all the reserve money, and that if a customer is a firm holdout, then that's fine, as long as they don't have a PO box number. So they went down this list, and they came back and said, oh, we was revenue deficient, $100,000. I'm like, what? Which it wasn't true. You know, it might have been some errors here and there, but basically, the reserve numbers, who got reserve numbers in here? Nightmare. Well, the rest of the people were out on New Year's Eve, getting ready to enjoy themselves. Me and my clerk are sitting there trying to put in all these reserve numbers. We have checks for $30,000 just to have reserve numbers that we're putting in. And you can only be done on 12/31. And so it's the huge banks, they have these reserve numbers. They rent them from us for $42, and then they rent them to their customers for maybe more, hundreds more, okay? And they process the mail, and all the mail is going to the one bin. But it's one thing that the ladies, they wrote down about these reserve numbers. They came on the 9th and the 10th of January. Well, PO boxes and reserve numbers, all that stuff is going to automatically close out after 10 days. So the ones that were due, they held that against us as saying revenue deficient. When they were not revenue deficient, they closed them out. If you came on the 11th, you'd see if they were closed out. We closed them out in web ads. So then it's going to be closed out, and mail won't come over to the box section. But anyway, they're out doing those audits now. So they're going to be checking callers and reserve numbers. Yes?
Does that have anything to do with the CRM? Is it CRM or P? The postage due.
The business reply?
BR.
No, that's a whole separate book thing. They're on that too. So like they coming at us at both ends, and the old post office where you didn't keep your finances together is over. The new post office is they're gonna look for every penny, and they want to make sure it's accounted for. I tell my clerks, don't leave money on the counter. Well, the customer gave me back a penny. I don't care, you put it in 126, but don't leave it on the counter, because it implies that we are careless with postal funds. So, PO Box, I got transfer cash, and inquiry on international. So basically, that's it for me. Is there any questions? Yes.
Gary Schrader, Gateway Bridge.
Hey, Mr. Craig.
I'm doing great. Forever stamps, whenever, postage rate goes up in that, how is that accounted for? Because, it's stocked there already, it comes automatic based on what they have left in
We have to
there.
count our inventory to make sure that if we say we got 100 forever stamps, then you have 100. And then it's
Increase the values on the.
right, increase the value, and it allots for that extra change or whatever. But, and that's when I told some of the folks, I said, okay, it says to count, make sure your inventory is correct. A lot of people didn't want to hear that, because we just went through a count session.
I mean, if they wait 5 days and then say, well, all of a sudden, this guy got some extra money in her drawer.
It's going to keep creating an out of balance, yes. Yes.
I heard we're going to be ordering stamps on eBay.
Really?
Yeah.
I can speak to that.
Tell me it ain't true.
No, it is true. Your MPOs are gonna be approving your order.
Oh, they know.
Yeah. My new job is with SEAM, and you guys have all, I sent out some stuff recently about SEAM. We are taking over all your ready posts. I'm sure that all of you have, that are in retail, have noticed that your ready post items, you don't get what you need, you get whatever they send you. Normally it just comes, and you've got this many 6x9 bubble mailers, and guess what you get in the mail tomorrow? More 6x. Hallmark used to do that on their own. I'm not real sure, I've never been given a good explanation as to why that happens, but that stopped, what, Corey, 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago that stopped. Corey works with me at Asset Management. That all stopped, we do all the ordering now. So you're gonna get a lot of calls from us. On page 11 of her handout, she underlined for you, ready post and greeting cards are not received in the PAWS back office. That's true, and I'm not telling you need to do that, but we monitor that in the background. If you want to match what we have, you can go ahead and put it in, or you can trust us to go by the system. You'll be getting a lot of phone calls that says you need to do audits on this or that because you have a negative balance usually. A negative balance is caused by you doing an audit, and rather than doing a real live audit, you just say I've got zero, because you don't want to take the time to do an audit. When you do that, because there's a certain requirement to you for, like she described, if I sell 100 coils a week, I want to keep 400 because my order cycle is a month. That's called a safety stock. If you put a zero in there, we're going to send more to you, because you have to have a safety stock enough to last for 4 weeks. It's the way all inventory and all supplies work. So my point to you is, we're going to be doing that with stamps in very short order. We're in the process of taking over that as well. And anything that we don't plan for you, you'll go on eBuy and actually order.
Are we going to be limited to the allotted schedule that the SDN used to give us?
Yes.
And is there going to be a place in eBuy that says it's an emergency order rather than a regular order?
Yes. You'll still be allowed, what do you get, 2 or 3 emergency orders?
One every 21 days.
That will still apply. We will plan your high movers, the rest will be all yours, and you'll order them through eBuy. We'll plan according to based on your safety stock and your retail activities. We'll plan what it is you're going to need. It really does work. Just be patient with this. I know you guys are all custom seen, but it's going to work. It just takes a little while.
Right.
Would it be wise, I know it'd be a lot of work, but would it be wise to go in and reconcile all of your ready post items?
That's good to do that. That way, whenever you perform an audit, we get that within the next day. It goes into the system. So at that point, we're ordering. Yes, it would be. People don't want to do it, they don't have enough time. Believe me, I know, you don't have time to do it. Especially when you've got 15 boxes. But if you've got 15 boxes, count by the box. There's 24 in this box. Just 24 times 7 boxes, and you got whatever that works out.
There's an audit once a month anyway on, those key items, right?
Well, normally, Scene sends out a notice that says you need to count these because there's reason to.
It's on specific items. I'm talking about everything that you
Yes,
have.
it doesn't hurt a thing for you to do that. And once you do that, that straightens Scene out. But it's got to be legitimate. You can't put a 0 in thinking that's going to get you an order. Because it generally works the wrong way. You get orders on top of orders on top of orders. Put the actual count in, and it'll fill out properly. Anytime I send you guys, anybody an email from work, my number is on there, or you've got my number anyway, you got my cell phone. If you have trouble with Scene, call me on my cell phone. I work right in there. I'm one of the, and Corey is too. You're one of the ones that actually do all of your orders. So you've got an in. Pardon me?
Now we don't lose Gus.
Yeah, but you can call me and cuss me to my face.
Only if you're not speeding your car.
I don't necessarily answer.
So you can always hang up.
That's an answer to your e-bike question. I have a question. You can't answer, but I want to know. We have pause in place now, and everything is recorded and everything is signed for, and yet we still have money orders issued by a little green bound ledger book that you scribble in. Why don't we step into the 21st century?
Well, they didn't tell us not, they didn't tell us to get rid of that. So it's just part of the procedure.
Whoever comes in and audits you, do they look for that? Do they ask for that?
I haven't been through a financial audit. They have one before.
But if
I
there's,
try to keep my finances
I
together.
can tell you if there's a discrepancy that NAPS go into and it has to deal with, I ask for it. I always ask to see the book. I want to see everything that you're tracking. Prove to me that you're doing it by the procedure.
But if they didn't have a green book, what would happen?
Then I'll dispute whatever they say my person owes them, and
Even though they have the documentation from Paul. it says
doesn't
that.
make any difference. You could falsify that documentation out of Paul.
They come with a pen and make eight.
I received.
I am going to dispute anything you give me if you say they owe you big money. Prove it to me. Prove it to me that the procedures that they have in place that you're following step by step. Because in Gateway, we got people with big choices.
Oh, I know you did. And I know everything's been.
I'd like to add to that, in one instance, paperwork was missing.
Right.
Person that take the paperwork home, they had a copy. Postal Service didn't have a copy. And this was 8 years later. And only to say that person's money was the copy they had at home. So, when they talk about saving paperwork, I think you should take something home. But there is no limit to the time liability, that you owe the Postal Service. There is no 7 years, there is no time limit.
But Edwin can speak to the fact that the documentation that he had, they still have to prove that you owe it. They couldn't prove, a lot of that was old IRT stuff, and they didn't have records to prove it. So he won at least a portion of many of those cases.
But they were satisfied, it wasn't that they thought this was made up. They were satisfied with the documentation.
When you receive stamp stock, sometimes when we get our stamp stock, I'll get a large quantity order, but I'll get it in 3 shipments, I'll get it in 3 boxes. And the one box will have, I won't get it all the same day. Sometimes I'll get 2 boxes and I think, oh my God, part of my shipment is missing. It's disappeared. And I have the insert says I'm supposed to have gotten
You can
more
pick
than
up
I got.
partial
The 3rd box
shipments.
is missing. I don't know that it's 1 of 3 boxes. Because nowhere on the paperwork does it say 1 of 3 or, 3 boxes shipped. It just says this is the shipment that was shipped. So then my question would be when I get, because I had 2 different people answer this 2 different ways, so I'm kind of curious about how you do it. If I get stamped stock, and obviously I've ordered stock because it was an emergency stock order, I get it, and I needed to issue some of that stock. I needed to get rid of it, and to get it to the floor because we had people that were kind of customers who wanted to stock. I asked, well, since I didn't get the whole shipment in, do I receive, show that I received part of it, or do I
Yeah, you
just
can pick up part of shipment, just use the shipment number.
on the whole shipment number, just use what I'm
The
getting?
shipment number is, remember
Yeah, I
that,
know what the shipment number is, but I'm saying on that shipment, I didn't get all of it.
remember that report I showed you where to get the shipment number from?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you got that shipment number, you can pick up partial of your order.
Okay.
Because you said take shipment number more than one.
Right,
Right,
right.
that's, I basically told two different ways, don't put any of it in until you get it all, and then, but you can go ahead and order, ship it, or transfer it to the floor, and let them sell it,
Yeah.
and I was told, don't do that either. But I don't know, who really knows the end of it.
It's all there.
Even if you don't receive it, you still don't receive it in. You don't receive it about 15 days.
But I do it before I.
So now I
And
said,
then you can always, like I said, check to see if it might have came, because I was fussing about an order, I even called the SDN. And so they pulled it up, and they was like, oh yeah, Diane, it's somebody on your dock signed for it. I was like, what? And so it's like 20 pages of stuff, you know, and sure enough, it was, and on the dock, it was covered up.
now we're a little way out, it's not, we'll never get,
Okay.
it's like a one-room building, so it's not gonna get locked, but I just, if you only get 2 or 3, you don't know it's coming in a separated shipment like that, then I didn't even, that's what I did, I contacted the and sent an email and said, where's my shipment? Nobody answered. Nobody answered.
The 816, what is it, 455 or? And the SDN, they were real nice too. They really did. When you need people to help you, then you know, you kind of come down and say, okay, what can you do? Can you let me send some stock back? This is not my turn, this one of my officers didn't send stock like they were supposed to. Would you allow me to send some back? They're like, okay, let me give you this number. Which they only want most times cell phone stock. They don't really want to take that non-cell phone stock back. Any other questions? You guys are nicer to me than y'all were to the other ladies.
You might turn off that mic so we don't hear whatever you're gonna do. Just as a final bit of advice with regards to stamp stock accountability. Anytime that you get involved with stamp stock, stop everything you're doing. Don't let an employee stop and talk to you on your way back from handing off an order. Don't answer the phone. I don't care if it's the district manager. I guarantee you, if you're handling stock, we can deal with it. If you're handling stock, I want you guys all to focus, and I want you to tell other people to focus. It's so easy to hand something across and get distracted and forget to put it in. I managed the main office, and I was selling to Southwest Publishing to the tune of $250,000 at a time. And you walk off and forget to do that, you do wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, crap! I mean, $250,000, that's a lot of money to be wondering what happened to it. Can I go back? Is it okay? How much trouble am I going to get into for delaying the input for a day? Don't do it. Focus, go start to end. Print out the entire packet she's got where you've got a before. What I always did was a before inventory and an after inventory. Matched it up with 17 in the middle. Take the time. The money you can lose on that will just eat your lunch in no time. Take your time. Don't get distracted. That's good advice. You tell your employees exactly what you're doing. If you can't do it, I'm not being rude. I've just got to finish this. I'll get right back to you. Karen.
I've been doing stock a long time, and I always tell people that I help, it's like if your shipment number's in there wrong, one number off whatever, you put it in there wrong. Take the time to, I always double check, even the amounts that I put in, I check the dollar amount from what I've received with what I've put in. I always take that extra second to check the shipment number and the dollar amount, so I know what I put in is correct, always.
Good advice. Good advice. And those invoice numbers, shipment numbers, all that, that's important. It's got to be right. But as long as your dollars are matching what they're supposed to be, you can go back and find those errors. And even if you make a mistake with any of your dollars, if you're looking at it, you can find at least the day that it happened. If you've got the packet. But you've got to build that packet every single time. Tammy.
When I was starting as a supervisor, I kind of got thrown into the whole retail and accountable stuff, and it was very overwhelming, especially when you're a new supervisor. The thing I can stress the most, if you're not sure about something, make a phone call. There are people out there that will help you. I don't know how many times I've called Carrie when I was doing this, saying, okay, I'm to this step, what is my next one? I'm not 100% sure, am I doing this correctly? And she'll help you. There's other people at other stations, they'll walk you through it. If you're not 100% sure, don't do anything. Just stop right there, take a breath, relax. You can look online and see all your information. There's the handbook, it's wonderful. But you have that outreach. One thing that I found as being a supervisor, or a frontline supervisor, you've got people at other stations that are more than willing to help you. Granted, they are pushed for time, just like you are, but if you've got an issue, they'll say, hey, let me get back to you, I'll help you with this, I can walk you right through it. Don't take a chance on getting yourself in trouble. When I took over the stamp stock at main office in Lincoln, I was kind of on my own, and they shoved me in that and collections and, take it over, clean it up. There was a lot of discrepancies there, and it took me a long time to get it figured out. And I called Carrie and a bunch of other people that I knew from the Omaha area, and we got it figured out. But the thing is you've got the call system. You're meeting all these people here. You have that capability to call in, and they will help you. And, a lot of people, I'm young, but it's still, you've got those people that will be there to help you because they know what situation you're in. And if they don't know the answers, they can tell you who you need to contact. And that's one thing that I've learned through the years is your phone system is wonderful.
That's part of the reason why we switched to a link, so we have people all over with expertise all over the place. So take advantage of the networking opportunity while we're here. What a draw.